Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Full Disclosure, DebtBook live web series where we'll spotlight the stories, the strategies, and the people that are shaping public finance. My name is Stephen Yoakum. I work here on the product team at DebtBook. One quick housekeeping item before we start. For this session, there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you have any questions during the session, feel free to add them there. And then James and I will pepper those in throughout the session as we can get to them. I'm here with my co-host, James. How are you doing today, James?
Good, Stephen. Happy to be here. Welcome, everyone. I'm sure everyone can remember a few years back, 2024, we had CrowdStrike. If you were trying to fly that day, you likely were not very successful. Back in 2021, in May, there was the Colonial Pipeline that shut down a lot of commerce. Our guest today is Joey Fuqua. He's the finance director. He's going to walk us through an experience they had earlier this year, as well as a lot of other great information around Henderson. Henderson's located around 30 minutes north of the Triangle. It's 600 miles of coast, which is very impressive. It borders Virginia. So we're really excited to have Joey on today. Joey, today.
James, can you hear me okay? This it's been cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah, I think I can hear you on my side, Joey. Go ahead and give your quick introduction. We'll get James booted back up.
Okay, as James said, I'm Joey Fuqua. I'm the finance director here at the City of Henderson in Henderson, North Carolina. I've been in this role for 10 years and come from 2 previous positions as finance director with other entities, and probably will spend the rest of my career here in Henderson.
Yeah, it's great. I think we were talking about this yesterday. You've been there for about 10 years now. Can you describe maybe throughout your time how you've seen things change in your career in public finance? What are the typical systems you see used, and what are the typical problems that occur day to day?
Yeah, when I first came on board here 10 years ago, it was obvious that there was an opportunity for a lot of upgrades regarding how that the daily businesses was carried out. And what I mean by that, automation was something that really needed to be attended to. Everything was being done by paper, archaic methods of record keeping, and so forth. So when I came on board, there was a number of things that was put into place: electronic purchase requisitions, updating our banking system to include positive pay, direct deposits, and taking advantage of electronic payment systems that was not in existence here. In doing so, with the establishment of those payment systems and the resulting rebate that the city realized through our local bank, we receive a handsome rebate each year. To date, since we've been doing this, we're over $150,000 in unbudgeted revenues from those rebates by paying electronically wherever possible. And we've seen the industry really move in that direction a great deal since the inception of that program. So over that span of time, just a lot of upgrades, a lot of more efficient functions and processes that have paid off, and not only through efficiency but also monetarily. So we're always looking for more opportunities to polish that whole daily process effort.
That's great. Apologies for maybe the tech issues on my end early on. I think I'm back now. Joey, so as you've been in the role now, what's led you to a solution such as DebtBook? Like, you've looked to modernize a lot, but how did that come about in Henderson?
Well, as a lot of the viewers probably can relate to, when GASB comes out with their latest rule, we all start scrambling to get compliant, and so when the GASB rule for subscriptions and leases and so forth kind of got on our plate for the fiscal year that we were required to start providing those reports and compliance. There was a lot of questions and a lot of commentary amongst at least finance directors in North Carolina. Is okay, how do we do this? Well, come to find out and learn through the grapevine that there was an entity out there by the name of DebtBook that captured all of the tools and bells and whistles that enabled you to come into compliance through their methodology, their software, and all of those things that that you could utilize to create their reports and eventually get to the journal entries to satisfy the GASB rule. So it was through the grapevine, through hearsay, that I learned about DebtBook and was very interested right off the bat, and engaged, made contact and engaged with the staff at that time to get on board, and we did so, and we've been using them ever since, and it's probably been, I guess, about 4 years now.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great to hear. I love to hear through the grapevine. James and I, just for candor, James and I worked very heavily on those two products. We're shifting now to work on some other products here as well, but love to hear from you. You talked about how typically you use paper systems, maybe Excel sheets for your reporting. Now you're transitioning to more applications like DebtBook. Where have you seen the benefit the most? Like, how has that really impacted your organization in some of these GASB compliant reporting that you do?
Well, certainly, DebtBook has been evolving. I've observed since my relationship start with them how that they've evolved into various modules that have come on board and being offered. And I do believe that the debt management of capital outlay and leases and so forth has been a part of DebtBook's menu. My system of management for everything regarding debt service was from a in-house. I designed my own spreadsheets and reports to capture what I needed to have available to me to manage my debt service business. I've become more familiar with the DebtBook module as it relates to debt management, and I'm working with DebtBook now on a possible migration into that module so that I can utilize that for future debt service management.
That's great. Yeah. The movement there into a resilient system, right, out of your spreadsheet, which I'm sure is very robust, but into more of a resilient system like DebtBook is a story that we hear all the time. So Joey, kind of want to move into the events of earlier this year in Henderson. Just for everyone that's listening and will listen, can you just walk us through the events that happened with the ransomware attack, and then maybe like where you all are at now?
Okay, it was about towards the end of February. We came into work and nothing would respond. Our computers would not come up. Immediately, the IT staff that we have immediately went to the server room to see what was going on with our servers, our modems, routers, what have you. And shortly thereafter, it was determined that Henderson had suffered a major ransomware attack. We had maybe 2 or 3 years earlier a similar incident that wasn't nearly on this scale. We were able to navigate out of that situation unscathed. That it took some work, but we were able to get through it. However, the one that took place at the end of February was a massive attack. It destroyed everything. And when I say that we lost everything, we lost it all. All of the city's history of files across the board were gone. Now, our financial software was preserved through their backup system. We still had to go back and build back in about 2 months of data to the last known clean date that our software company was able to provide. That was quite a task to have staff working all day, every day for a number of days to backfill all of that information. Well, we did get that up to speed, but everything else was gone. Since then, we've had to rebuild just about everything that we used on a daily basis, all of our spreadsheets, templates, going back to our vendors and other entities that we engage with to have them to resend documentation to us to have some files. We're currently in the middle of our audit, and we're really having to take into account a lot of information that's just not going to be able to be presented. And so we're working with our auditors around that impasse. They certainly understand the magnitude and the impact that we've suffered, and we'll figure out how to get a unqualified opinion as it relates to our situation. But massive attack, devastating chaos ensued thereafter, and we're still in many ways continuing to recover. Some of that's going to be permanent damage. It just won't ever be back. But that's where we are. It is what it is, and we're just trying our best to move forward with it.
Yeah, I don't want to make light of your situation, Joey, but I know we picked up probably a good week to have this podcast, it being the week of Halloween, with this information and the kind of the tragedy that your team has really been trying to pivot from earlier in this year. You talked about how you're upgrading some of the systems over time. Really, I know that some of the upgrade and modernization that other cities, counties, states are doing across the country is around this organization resiliency around software as well, since everything's heading to software. I'd love to quickly answer kind of what would you have changed if you knew what was going to happen in February? What would you like other cities to know about your situation and the changes you're making?
That's a very key point to it all, really. The reason that the city of Henderson suffered such a devastating attack is because we were not protected. Our contracted IT firm should have established an independent server for all of our daily backups to be housed on, and that was not in place. That's an issue that we're dealing with in-house right now, but it was not in place. It was an open door opportunity for these hackers to walk right in here and sabotage our system. So the key note there is for anybody else that may have a question mark as to where you stand in your own cities or counties, is to take some serious time to review how protected that you might be. Since our attack, we've spent quite a bit of money on consultation firms to help us navigate through what we went through and how to mitigate any problems going forward, and that included putting everything that we do every day on a cloud format. So that's what should have been in place. And to your point, that's one thing that I wish that we had spent some quality time getting established as a full benefit cloud protection system like we have and we are evolving with right now to safeguard against anything happening in the future. That's what everybody should be doing, is taking a very strong look at how protected you are from your connection standpoint.
Yeah, that debt service sheet that you had, was that lost because it was local, or had you already begun the move to DebtBook at that point?
Well, we were certainly on board with DebtBook prior to the event. DebtBook did come to my rescue because with everything gone, and the contact that I had with DebtBook, they were able to backfill all of my DebtBook history, things that I've uploaded into DebtBook. They were able to get me back online, and which gave me access to a lot of the files that I had inputted. Of course, many of those files were already cataloged on DebtBook, and they were obviously still there, safe and sound, and in their completed process. So that was a tremendous help. That enabled me to work through the GASB compliance issues for subscriptions and leases, and that's already been done and already submitted to the auditor. So huge relief to have that completed with the help of DebtBook, which was a major aid in that regard.
Yeah, I would love to ask really quickly, how was that hands-on support during that time? I know you said it impacted everything, and for the things that you already had on the cloud with systems like DebtBook, it wasn't really impacted. How was that support during that time? And you mentioned you're already kind of done with that piece of the audit, so I imagine that's a huge relief compared to some of the other things you still are trying to find data or replicate.
It really was. In fact, as you might imagine, and I'm sure the listeners, viewers can really relate to how intense it is through an audit season, and with the advent of the cyber attack and the tremendous amount of chaos that we were going through. There was so much going on and so much that had to be dealt with through that experience, that DebtBook actually reached out to me first. They made a scheduled call just to see how things were going. They knew that budget was coming to a close, and we would certainly be on the cusp of kicking off our audit season. So DebtBook made a courtesy call to me to see how things were going. And of course, I explained everything to them, and they really jumped to task on what that they needed to do to assist in this situation, and resulted in providing me with the documentation that I mentioned earlier, giving me access to the system, and walking me through some of the processes that I didn't have any notes on since all my files were blown away. So it was really critical and so timely for that engagement to happen when it did, to get the ball rolling on becoming compliant again.
Yeah. And that teammate, I believe you connected with, Victor, he sits here right in the office with us, and he's great. Steven and I get to work with him every so often, so I'm happy you did as well. So I want to move, Joey, more to kind of some Henderson macro news and happenings. So Henderson's an exciting city, small but growing. And so we'd just love to hear like special projects that are happening there and things that excite you about the future at Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson's got a very interesting geographical location, being just maybe 35-40 minutes away from the Research Triangle area, what we call the Triad: Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, even very relatively close to the Greensboro area. So we're really strategically placed to benefit from that close proximity to a major metropolitan area. Two major interstates run right through Henderson. We're halfway between the mountains and the coast. We are on the path of growth, North Raleigh growth coming this way, as it has happened with Wake Forest right outside of Raleigh northward. Youngsville, Franklinton, Henderson is next in that process. So we're hoping to become the recipients of the same types of development that those cities have enjoyed by being on that same corridor. Raleigh is expanding so much, probably top 10, maybe top 5 in the nation in terms of population growth and economic opportunity. So with that influx of population, people are looking for outlying areas, small towns where the hustle and bustle is left in Raleigh, and they have a quiet community to relocate to and raise their family and so forth. So Henderson has that potential, and we're really hoping that that development comes that way. Another reason that we are attractive to those prospects is due to the fact that Henderson Vance County is home to Carl Lake, which is a 600+ shoreline lake that we share with Virginia, and that water supply that we're capitalizing on by virtue of spending over $100 million in a regional water plant upgrade that will double our capacity as well as our regional partners' capacity to service these areas that are developing around the influx that's taking place in North Raleigh and forward to the Virginia line. So those are very exciting prospects there. I would hope that development really starts to get a lot of traction. There's a lot of plans on the horizon, and it'd be nice to see that traction really start to take grip and get shovels in the ground. Some of that's happening, but some of the bigger projects we're waiting in the wings for that to happen to bring in that additional revenue for us.
Yeah, I would imagine you're in a tricky position with some of that anticipated growth, and of course you have to plan out the infrastructure changes in anticipation of that. It's almost like if you wait too long, you might be a little too late on getting some of those moving. So interested how those conversations for you and the kind of leaders in your community. What things are you anticipating? What other changes do you think are coming, and how do you plan out those infrastructure changes? Sometimes years in advance.
It definitely is a top tier interest for our city council. We just went through an election, and many of those seats are changing. So those council members have to be brought up to speed with the top tier interest of the city, and get them acclimated to the municipal governing process. So that's something that is going to happen when those election times come around, and getting them on board with that. We are entertaining the interest from a number of developers, and as I mentioned, once we can really get a lot of the prerequisites with zoning permits and other types of requirements that come into play, the sooner that we can start to benefit from the influx of all the new business and increase in population, hopefully.
For other finance directors on the call, Joey, how would you explain your opportunity right now? So you feel like Henderson's a city kind of on the brink, right? But you also have pressures, probably, right? You have areas around you growing. What are some of every day as you show up as the finance director for the city? What are things that you're top of your priority list? And I'm sure others on the call can relate to that, and it'd be great to hear.
Well, Henderson, I'd say 20 to 30 years ago, the backbone of Henderson's economic health was in tobacco and in textiles. Harriet and Henderson Yards was internationally known for the quality of textile products that were generated right here in Henderson. Massive manufacturing plant that really put us on the map through that industry. That's all going away now. Tobacco is at a minimum, and textiles is all overseas for the most part. We were the home office for a major regional Southeast regional discount chain of Rose's stores that's recently acquired a part of Big Lots. But Rose's was a real leader, if not the front runner in discount retail in the Southeast, until Walmart came into that region. I was actually employed as a buyer with Rose's back in the late 80s, early 90s, and certainly felt the impact of how things were going when Walmart finally got into the Southeast and Roses suffered a major setback to deal with that level of competition. But to their credit, they held their own, and they still have a number of stores scattered around, still in the Southeast. They're managed and owned by a variety of wholesalers now. So Roses employed a lot of high salaried individuals in this area. Their operations is not headquarters. They have a satellite headquarter office here, but a lot of that management team left and is now located in Raleigh. So those three major industries really took a toll on Henderson that has been struggling ever since to replace those job providing and high salary type level of positions, and we've been struggling ever since to replace that. And we've got a long ways to go to get back to those levels, but we are seeing some interest here to take advantage of our water supply, and so that could possibly bring in some industry once we finish that project, which is due to be completed sometime in 2026.
That's great. Yeah, and to kind of pair the conversations together, these resilient systems like DebtBook, like others that you're building at Henderson and that you're, ensuring is going to ensure the success of Henderson for years to come, right? And hopefully the success that comes to Henderson is going to be built and is going to be there. Henderson will be like ready for it, right? Given the right infrastructure, which is really exciting. Awesome. Well, as we kind of wrap up here, for everyone on the call, we were talking before about how Joey loves North Carolina beaches. Maybe a great spot to post finance directorship at Henderson jet off to. So Joey, for anyone who's not familiar with North Carolina beaches, we'd love to hear about your favorite North Carolina beach, and maybe it's a vacation spot that someone on the call could join at some point.
Absolutely. If you're ever in North Carolina, which is it's known for its nice beaches, particularly in my opinion, Carolina Beach, just outside of Wilmington, is a great family-oriented small town beach that the city of Carolina Beach has done a great job in preserving that small beach town atmosphere. They've done a tremendous amount of upgrades to the entire beach community with new retail offering, new residential offering, and it's done in a style that stays into the same motif as a small beach town. Really, really well done. Great beach area, great surf, and a lot of great scenery through Fort Fisher, that's just south of Carolina Beach, and Cure Beach. Really great area to visit, and it does draw quite a number of tourists from all over the country every year.
Yeah, Joey, I think I'm looking back over my notes from our conversation. You've had a lot of change in your career. I think it comes through the way you talk about your area, how important it is to you, whether it's your time at Roses or now finance director. You've gone through a lot of technology change as well over the last 10 years. I think everyone in your area definitely benefits from having someone in the seat that can help navigate that, help bring change in the right ways. So I think really kudos to you for sticking through a period like this. I hope that you have some quieter days ahead, maybe at Carolina Beach. Love to maybe get a drink in a few years and hear more about the coming days and how you've continued to be resilient.
Well, thank you so much. I'll be here in Henderson for a little while longer, but looking forward to that time to call it a day.
Yeah, awesome. Of course. Well, thank you for your time today, Joey. James and I will quickly wrap it up. I didn't see any questions come through, so we'll go ahead and close it down. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Joey will certainly be in touch in ongoing audit years. Love to keep getting feedback from you on everything we build. So it won't be the last time we talk, but we'll talk soon.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Thanks, Joey. Have a great day. Bye now.
Bye-bye.